All right, let's get it, y'all. What's going on? This is the DC Incentives podcast. You already know what it is. So we have special people up in this room today. We have Zay. Zay, get it up. What's going on? We have TC. What's going
What's
on,
up?
TC? And then
Not
we got
much.
two extraordinary people you already know from the last episodes. Chuck Finance. What's good, Chuck
What up? What up?
Finance?
What up? What up? What up?
Destiny. You already know what Destiny. What's going
Hi,
on?
everyone.
Queen.
What's going on? So today we're going to talk about the movie They Cloned Tyrone. Now, for this movie, I recommend everyone to watch it because it has a lot of interpretation, subliminal messages. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, usually, we don't really get to, movie reviews, but this one I think is really the nail that it really needs to, that the most talk of the town. So we can get to the reviews. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I recommend do not watch this episode yet until you see it. That way we can get your your opinion and your thoughts. So so let's get to the reviews. I'll go first. So matter of fact, let's do this. I'm gonna ask questions. What's your thoughts about the movie? What's the overall everything? Destiny, you want to go first?
Yeah, I could go first. Okay, so my thoughts overall is that it was a great balance of both entertainment and truth. And I feel like you can't walk away from this movie without questioning everything around you. Like, if you choose to go back and like live your life in a way where it's just like you're on autopilot, that's on you. Because I feel like a lot of these movies put truth in it to where it's like, maybe I should check the things that I'm digesting and ingesting, whether that be movies or music or food. So yeah, I feel like it was a huge eye opener. It wasn't a really movie that where they spoon fed you everything, but it was a lot of like hints at things that was like, oh my gosh, like let me pay attention to what's going on around me. So yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Chuck Finance.
Yo. The I thought the movie was amazing. Um, I didn't know what I was going. I didn't know what I was walking into when I saw it. Jamie Foxx, of course. Whatever. I'm gonna watch it because of Jamie Foxx, and it's like when I'm watching the movie. I grew up in the 70s, so I grew up in the black exploitation age. So I'm looking at this movie and I'm like, okay, this is an homage to all the movies from the black exploitation. But it's funny when you look at the movie and you look through the comedy, you look through all of the nonsense, and you see these undertones of issues and what's really happening, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Are they really touching on these points? It's just amazing. And we're gonna go into it, but I've been telling every single person, yo, watch the movie. I can't talk about it. You gotta watch the movie. After you watch the movie, call me or hit me up because we have to talk. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So that's what I've been telling everyone. Please watch the movie. Yesterday, I was walking with a fella and we were talking about a movie and somebody joined in. Yo, you guys talk about Tyrone? Yeah, we talk about Tyrone. So that was the thing. So that's what the thing I take away from that was the way that the undertones. And I would like to see who wrote the movie. I would like to see what was the intent of the movie. And we'll do that later. But that I've been telling everyone to watch the movie. I watched it in the morning and then I watched it again the same day a second time because it was that powerful. And I'm going to watch it a third time.
Definitely. Okay. TC, talk to me.
So I just seen the movie today, and it literally felt like a Jordan Peele movie. Like it gave me like that Get Out, This Is Us kind of vibe. I didn't really know what I was getting into. Honestly, I thought it was a straight comedy, how they just put it out there. But when I was watching it, I was just like, yo, looked outside my window. I said, this is low key what's happening right now, you know? And
Yeah.
I'm mad at myself. 'Cause I'm watching movies like, damn, I want some pot pies. But then I start thinking about it, I'm like, don't eat that chicken, boy. Don't eat it. Don't eat that chicken. Nah, but honestly, that movie is like Destiny said. It's not like they're spoon feeding you. It's something you have to visually look at, like the background for certain images and symbols, and you'd be like, "Oh, they're right about that." Especially with the whole hair salon scene. When I was looking at that stuff, I was just like, So it's definitely a movie I think everybody should see, and definitely see it more than once. Like I'm probably gonna watch it after we finish this.
Okay. Go ahead, Zay.
So for me, at first I was watching it. I'm like, okay, I'm not too sure what's going on here yet. I'm trying to decide if I'm getting in, if I'm gonna be able to get through it, and if you ever be it. And then I start looking more into it. I'm like, in my head, I'm looking at, okay, I see different stereotypes, different things. I see all these different things that people talk about nowadays. And then I'm just noticing more when it comes down to, talking about TV, what you're eating, and different things they're drinking and stuff. And I'm like, we do this every day. This is kind of like, got you thinking and try to understand and kind of look at yourself and your life and what you're doing. Be like, okay, maybe I need to stop doing this so much. But it's definitely a movie to watch, and it's gonna make you think. It's gonna make you really just look at life a little bit differently. To me, and
Okay. So for me, I think this is a phenomenal movie. I think it was one of the best, probably my top 10 for the year I watch. I think just like Jordan Peele said for one of his movies that it's a documentary, I feel like, they cloned Tyrone. I feel like that movie was a documentary, especially for Black people. That's what I think, in my opinion. So I think you have to really be open-minded and not and not closed, and check on the clues on like what's going around you, or what you see yourself. You even have to click on yourself. Like you could say like, okay, like wow, like I'm even guilty of listening to that type of music, and I get fired up and I get in the mood. I would like I can be guilty of that, or like I'm just like TC said, like I could get a Popeyes chicken sandwich or go to Chick-fil-A or something, and it tastes so good and everything. So it's like just and the part about the fried chicken that made me think of what's that movie? Undercover Brother. How they had in the TV about the fried chicken also. Yeah. So that's what but it was definitely a phenomenal movie. So yeah. That's my overall, over my views on it. So now we can get deep on this now. I can go first on it. I think when people watch the movie, right? They like literally they ask me, okay, cool. I watched the movie. They're telling me the clues. They're telling me, what's going on. But now what can I do about it? That's what the questions that the people, some of the people that I know, that I personally know, seen the movie is going to ask me, okay, what can we do about it? And I think that is in the movie, in my opinion, how Jamie Foxx got the whole hood just to destroy the operation. That's what, like, they gave it to you. Like, they already told you this would needs to be done. Unity, the whole hood, in my opinion. I also like it's a lot, and you can even see like the only people that they cloned was the people that are problematic to the hood, the false, pastors, the the pimp, the drug dealer. Those are ones that they clone. But I think that was a metaphor. Yeah, it's so much I can touch base on, but it's like, um, what are your thoughts on it? Anybody can go. I don't want to, go too much on, to it, because it'll take me about like 40 minutes.
I wanted to piggyback on that unity thing of like the entire community coming together, because this is a conversation I had with my friend, and I was like, unity, I feel like is always the answer, community, everybody coming together. But I feel like although we all know in the back of our mind that we all do need to come together to stop many of the horrible things that's going on, I feel like from a very young age, we've been programmed to see that people who came together, they always got harmed in a way, from like, especially in our community, from the Black Panthers to what are they called, when they were marching with Dr. King, and then Malcolm X and all these different people. So it's like you want to, and you have the urge, or even like with the riots from 2020, when people were coming together to march for George Floyd and everyone that was dying due to police brutality. People were getting shot with the guns and getting sprayed and hit with batons. So it's like, that that's what you want to do. But then a lot of fear mongering happens when it comes to like, if you do this, you're going to get hurt. So it's better that you stay pushed apart and play your role. So it's like, it's horrible.
And that's and to piggyback on that, that's the reason why I said it's a metaphor why they clone just the ones that's problematic, is because those are the ones that, as soon as you to the hood, those are the ones that's going to stay living that cycle. It's going to be living that cycle over and over again. That way the community will not build up. It's still going to stay stagnant until gentrification, until just like Keith, even though his name is Nixon. His name is Nixon in the movie, which is, in my opinion, Nixon, if you put that together, Nixon is a racist president that put the war on drugs for Black people. So that's what I got from it. And he even said it like, we'll put a Starbucks here, and like what he said, we'll put a Starbucks here, and that's how it goes with gentrification, redlining, and it's and you see the way how he was controlling the pimp and the drug dealer and everybody that was around with the Black people, right? So when he was controlling them, I think that was a sign of, listen, I own you. That's what I think it was.
Well, my favorite part is that he was able to control them, but did you notice he couldn't control Yo-Yo, the one I was like, oh, and I was like, and I was talking about this with Chuck Finance, and I was like, I love that, because like she couldn't even really understand her power there, like the fact that they couldn't control you, and I feel like that was a message to all Black women, that like we have a true power that gets like skewed through mainstream media, and like because like we just get like put down a lot as Black women, like through how we get paid, through how we're portrayed on the media as angry Black women and all this stuff. But like we have so much power, and she couldn't even see that, and he was just putting her down with his words like, you're irreplaceable, like you have no worth and things like that. But she clearly has worth if you can't even control her. So, but she just didn't see that.
One of the things, Tisa, you talked about, and there's there's a brother named Anthony Browder. He's down in DC. He's a historian, awesome brother. He does videos and he actually critiques movies because he went to school for marketing. So he'll do a video on a movie and he'll expose things that we don't see as a marketer. So TC talked about Get Out, and there's a scene in Get Out at the beginning, the very first scene where the brother's walking in the neighborhood, and the white car comes behind him, and in the back of the car is a helmet. So Anthony Browder was teaching us that though that car was the White Knights from the Civil War, and that white car was the white horse, and then in the helmet in back was the hoods that they wore. So when we talk about the symbolisms, this is one of the reasons why we have to have these conversations with these movies, because it's like, what did you see? I know that the people in this room are going to show me things that I didn't see, and that's what it's all about, having the conversation. And we talk about the analogy, we talk about the archetype, as Rich talked about, and we talked about this. What fascinates me is the way that these prominent archetypes that TC talked about, looking out in the window, that we see every day, these are the scourges of the community. And we talk about unity. This is part of the reason why we can't organize. This is part of the reason why these quote unquote leaders are controlled by others. Why my concern is always not what I see. My concern is what I don't see. I can combat what you're trying to do to me that I see, but if I don't see it, then that's the problem. And we're talking about, technically, we're really talking about social engineering and social programming. So now when you hear key code words or you hear music like Rich talked about, it's like, wait a minute, what is that doing to me? And why is that so prevalent in our community? And okay, now I know what it does to our community. I don't have to engage in it if I don't want to. But remember, if we do that, now we're the outcasts. We're different. We're the outcasts. We're different. Well, why don't you like this? And I'm not going to call out names on why don't you like this music? Why don't you like that? Because that music does not appeal to me because I don't live that life. I don't live that life. Now, if I'm going to listen to something, I'm going to listen to something powerful, uplifting, and organizing. It was Stokely Carmichael. We talk about unity. He talked about organization. We have to have organization. And remember, if you have organization, you have people moving in one accord. And if people are moving in one accord, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. See, they have chaos. So now what happens is that chaos thing, and okay, that's what you talked about it, the riots, the Rodney King riots, and every kind of riot. You have chaos. As long as the chaos is controlled in a certain community, that's not an issue. But if organized chaos, we decided to move our anger, our frustration, our pain, whatever, into another community. Oh, now we got what? The tanks coming in, right? Now we got the National Guard pulling up. Do you see what I'm saying? So there's so much to unpack with this movie. And when we look at it, and we're going to get into the archetypes, if you notice, and we're going to get into our favorite things, but if you notice the what I noticed, and like Rich said, what I saw was the main archetypes that were getting cloned the most were the most problematic. The pimp, the gangster, the drug dealer, the reverend. These were the ones that, if you remember in that scene, all of the pods, they were all the same. Remember, there was Tyrone, it was the reverend. So from what I saw, that's the main controlling factor and the main piece when it comes to what we're dealing with as a race, is understanding that as long as you are not helpful to the race, we're going to produce more of you because you're doing what we want you to do. And like Destiny said, the part with Nixon degrading the woman, that's a powerful piece, because he said something like, you don't have any value. So it's like, wow. But one of the things I do like is, and we're gonna get deeper. One of the things that I do like is after she got caught. Her name was Yo-Yo. After she got caught, you cut to the scene with, and the funny thing is, his name was Charles. I was like, oh my gosh! In the movie, I'm like, oh, here we go. So and the brother, his name wasn't Tyrone, but the thing was, after all of that, they went back and got her. You know, after all of, they went back and got her. So what does that say? These are parts of things that we have to talk about. We can talk about the negative stuff, but we got to talk about the positive stuff also. They went back and got her. So it's like, no matter what happens in this world, we have to save ourselves. We have to save our women as Black men. So go ahead. I don't want to, because we could be here all night. I don't want.
One of the things. Oh, sorry.
ZNTC, go ahead, ZNTC.
Oh, I was gonna say, with them going back to get her, where Charles was talking about, it's a matter of where here they trying to forcibly put a perm in her hair. Now, you know, of course, we've seen it was a wig or whatever, but it kind of brought it back for me, because for me, it was a big thing. I used to perm my hair, you know, after a while, and it took a long time for me to get to the point where I could get my hair back to natural. It took a long time. It was that was a struggle, I tell you. But just to see that, and it's like, yo, they're putting the chemicals in your hair to connect with that. It's like, it's kind of damaging you. And now they're talking about they got different lawsuits and stuff because you can get cancer from the perms. You know, then all these different things happening with that. Then another thing that came up to me was, I've gotten on this big tip with my son. I only do 100% juice, right? But if you look in the movie, they giving them, what is that? Like, I guess you would consider it's like a Capri Sun or whatever, which is just a bunch of sugar. You know what I mean?
Definitely artificial, yeah.
So all these different things, as I was watching, I was just looking at like things that just pointed out and then connecting to what's going on right now. What are we seeing right now? You know, and that, for me, that was just a big thing where you was actually able to make connections to today's everyday life. It was a big thing for me.
For me, I'm back to the fried chicken thing. When they shown the outburst of the fried chicken, everybody enjoying it, it reminded me, I forgot what year it was, but when the chicken sandwich first came out of Popeyes, how the whole neighborhood went crazy for that chicken. You hear in different states people getting stabbed, shot over some chicken. And you really got to sit there and think about that. Like,
I remember that.
No,
you remember
that's
that?
Really real. Yes,
I remember. Into the Popeyes?
Yeah. Yes. And people got killed over the sandwiches.
People died for some chicken.
I told everybody, I said,
and it's like, it's really, when you look at it, it's like the chicken face went crazy. Social media is showing it. And guess what? Who's looking at it more? The white man or the Black man? I'm not saying white people don't eat chicken, but let's be honest. The neighborhood, our neighborhood's going to be looking at this and be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get some chicken. Then it spreads like wildfire. Now you're seeing Popeyes everywhere. You know? And it's like they got their agenda.
Was long.
Yes.
Yo, you saw how the line was long and how the people was laughing. And then if you hear it on the radio, right? If you hear it on the radio said the chicken has some sort of symptoms that makes you laugh to the muscle and goes to the bloodstream to your nervous system, something like that. And and it's not good for you. Yo, if you hear that radio, if you watch it, listen to that radio, you'll hear it says, this is what the chicken does to your body.
Yes. And what's the chicken doing to us now when we go Popeyes and KFC, for example?
Right.
Basically the same thing. You know, it's crazy. And it's just like, that's one of the connections I caught on very fast. That's just like, that literally happened in real life.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing I was going to mention too was when they put the news on, when they select, you know, when they freed all of the clones.
Yeah.
My biggest thing was, look at what's on the TV. You see how I kept jumping from different channels and they're showing the same things and how the people are naked and then all of them is acting crazy, whatever. And I'm just like, why? Why it's got to be shown like this? But this is what happens. And it's always something that's saying something stupid out their mouth that gets on the camera.
Okay, Zay, one of the things that's done is so that you become desensitized to it.
Yes.
Yes.
So now when
Yes.
you see it, you think that that's normal.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's one of the that. But again, we're talking about social engineering, social programming. So now, if you're comfortable of seeing that, it's the so now part of it is as as conscious Black people, part of it is that when you see that and you know that that's strategically designed, the issue comes when you try to elevate yourself and others are looking at you like, why can't you be like us? You know,
Mhm.
you've heard this before. You know,
Yeah.
why do you why do you have to why do you have to act like you're not one of us? And
Mhm.
that's because we're talking crowd programming. So and then this is the important thing when you find your core group that are moving. And remember, organization, when you find your core group that are moving together, that are moving powerful, moving up, exposing things. And like Destiny said, when things like that happen, you get taken out.
Mhm.
I think Rich, you said they didn't clone a Malcolm X. They didn't clone a Martin Luther King. They were cloning people that were detrimental to the Black community. And Zay, like you said, I guess the funny thing to me was one of the funny things to me was inside the beauty salon when the lady was like complaining and moaning, and then once that stuff hit her hair, she mellowed out. Like, oh my gosh, that's like so yeah. So that's what again. That's what we look at. Do you guys remember a movie called Three the Hard Way from the '60s? I mean, from the '70s. Three the Hard Way. Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, um, Jim Brown, Fred Williamson, and I forget his name right now. But Three the Hard Way was a famous movie. But if you haven't seen it, Three the Hard Way was a black exploitation movie. You know, big guns, killing the white man, the whole thing, blah blah blah. But if you go back and look at it again, Three the Hard Way was strategic, and I tell everyone to go back. If you love this one, go back and watch that one, because at the very beginning, Three the Hard Way, there was a scientist who created something that only killed black people, and in the movie, they were trying to put it in certain reservoirs, Chicago, New York, you see what I'm saying, Detroit, because they wanted to put it in the water reserve so that when we drink the water, it would kill us.
Mm.
Mm.
We're looking at the the re-emerging of these concepts and these contexts. And this is why, like I said, it's important that we talk about these things, because it's like, wait a minute, hold on. If they've been doing that then, what are they doing now?
Exactly. I want to piggyback on you talking about cloning people who are detrimental to the community. And I want to talk about how, cuz I'm in the music industry and I always pay attention to artists and how they behave online, how what they say in their songs and stuff like that. So going to that scene where they were in the club and he was like, "I'm gonna put on some of this trance hypnotic music or whatever," and the people are just like, and it made me feel like so weird because like I'm a DJ myself and it makes me feel like I need to be careful of the music that I'm playing to make sure like it's not like of course we want our ratchet like hype songs every now and then, but like too much of it is like not good. And I also remember watching a interview of one of these head people of a head record label, and the interviewers asked him like, "Are you a person that is more for talent, or would you bring somebody onto the label if they were heavy drug addicts?" And he was like, "No, he's all for talent, but he will call them out if they were a drug addict." And they're like, "Well, that's kind of contradicting yourself because I thought you were all for talent. So then why are you bringing drug addicts on?" And that's because like that's what sells. And that's what they want to keep feeding to our community because it's going to just keep birthing more and more drug addicts, more and more drug dealers, more and more killers and stuff like that. So it's like it's really interesting to see like how it's all connected.
one thing to piggyback on, and I want to continue on the music. You see how they was doing an experiment on black people, and I think the experiment on black people were the ones I think that were the ones that in prison. Yeah, the other ones. So the ones that are in prison are the ones that I think they're doing the experiment on. How you get eyes open. You see how the two guys, right? When the song, the title of the song said "Kill a motherfucker," right? So you see how they was. No, I'm serious. This is real. No, this is real. This is real stuff. This is what we listen to on a daily basis on the radio and our music. I'm guilty of it too. Yes, I listen to like, oh, this is basic. I'll do this to you. This.
I'm saying I listen to my city girls every now and then.
And as long as it has a hot beat, and as long as it's even, it don't even have to be lyrical. It just gotta be like, yeah, bow, and yeah, it'll be nice.
It sounds like Kevin Gates to me.
So going back to the movie, it's like, I'm a killer. You know what I'm saying? So now when we get hyped, we're like, yeah, I'm hyped. Let's do this. Yeah. Next you see how they fight, and next it was like, okay, let's change the song. They changed the song to "I Need a Hug." When they changed the song to "I Need a Hug," you see how they changed their moods to them hugging each other. And songs, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna get deep. Songs are like soul snatchers. They are. So if you listen to, so even back in the I'm not saying all songs are negative, but I'm saying these songs they get you in the mood. Yes, and it goes back to what Chuck Finance was saying about what you're listening to. But like I said, I'm guilty because I listen to that type of music. I'm not saying I do that, in the street, blah blah blah, whatever. But we listen to that type of music in the daily basis.
Right.
Yeah.
I think music is a very spiritual thing, and it's like it's okay to explore different sounds. It's just the how much you're listening to it. Like if you listen to the negative songs, quote unquote negative songs, like too much, it's not helpful to you because you're like wondering, why am I always so upset, or why am I always so sad? Well, look at what you're listening to, or look at what you're watching. Like there was an album that just dropped last night, and I was listening to it with my friend, and we're going through the whole entire album. Some of them were like, this is not hitting. Some of the music, it literally felt like it put you in a trance. And we both watched the movie, so we just looked at each other and started laughing. We was like, what are they putting in this music? Like, oh my gosh.
I have an example. I don't know if y'all remember this growing up, where they had a show called The Doodle Box.
I remember that.
Years ago? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in middle school, and my sister was young, so she was watching. Me and my brother sit down next to her on the couch, and all of a sudden, we supposed to be heading to school. While we on that couch, and I feel like I'm in a trance, like I could not move. I was just stuck watching that show. And it's just the song, but all you keep hearing is just the song playing over and over. It got to the point I was like, you know what? I can't watch the show no more. No, it ain't working.
I'm glad you guys are talking about this, because this is the awareness part that I talk about when there are things that we see and we know, but there are things that we need to see that we don't know. And if you talk about the music, and if you've seen the videos where what's their name, baby shark or something,
Yes.
where you can see little children who can't even talk, can't even walk, but they put the music on and you see them moving. So what we're looking at is the influence of the music and what it does to us. And yeah, exactly, you have artists who and I don't want to say that we all do it. We have to understand that we're all programmed, and we're trying to deprogram the things that we've been programmed to do. So now, for instance, if we talk about the music, it's like, I'm not going to apologize to this because I'm part of this society, and I was raised in this society. I'm a little bit more aware of what's going on. So now, Somebody calls me up, yo, something happened. Blah, blah. What? Who am I gonna put on? There's a certain artist that died from crack. I'm not gonna say no name, but when the dog comes out, I'm putting that music on, and what am I doing? I'm lacing up the Timbs. Why? Because I'm getting in that mood, because what we about to do, I need that energy. So again, we look at these things now. And now if I'm in that, but again, that's that controlling factor that we're talking about. What is in the music? And that, Destiny, you said it so profoundly. What's in the music? Like, we always talk about what's in the food. Whoa, what's in the music? Like, really? And you look at these things, and it's powerful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to relook at the movie and see how the music and the soundtrack was bombing.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And did you guys hear the song at the end, Erykah Badu's song?
I still haven't listened to it again. I have to listen to it again.
Changed the lyrics.
She changed the lyrics. Yes, she did. She
Yeah, I
changed the
get that
lyrics.
listen again to hear it. Okay.
Oh yeah, you got to go back
Catch
and listen
on.
to it. It's like, oh my god.
I was singing the original lyrics. I wasn't even paying attention to the song. Like, I heard her voice and I was like,
same.
"Oh, I was singing this whole song."
Yeah.
That's the same thing for me. Yeah.
So the diet. Remember, the diet is the food. The diet is what we see. The diet is the music. What we hear. All the five senses. So that's something that the music. Okay. It was funny to me in the movie was when they went down and they were monitoring everybody's conversation. And the lady was talking about her dude, and they were writing notes. Because again, they're monitoring everything we do because they're studying us. And like
you're monitoring this too.
The brothers in prison, but also you got the people in the military that they're on. All these things are like, wow. Again, what we're looking at is how do we fight an enemy that is so strategic? Like, really, it's deep. It's really deep. And it's a multifaceted fight. Because you think you won one, but then you got this side over here. You're like, wait a minute, I thought I won this fight. No, I'm still fighting.
Yeah. Listen, it's a lot you learn as you go every day. As I said, I have not realized so much until recently, right? Dealing with, especially seeing this movie now and making connections. It was brought to me, you got to realize when kids learn, they learn with all five senses. But when you become an adult, you don't think about that. But you learn with all five senses everything you're doing. And then it's like the music. What I've noticed is, especially with the kids, because that's the way I connected is when you watch, they listen to certain, as you were saying, certain music, they're all hyper and all over the place. And in other music, they're kind of calm, more smooth, smoother. So it's just like when you look at life in general and how things go every day, we have to, like Chuck Finance, you have to change stuff. You can't change it. You may not be able to change everything at once, but you change it little by little. You'll be able to reach you where you want to, and everybody around you is not going to understand what you're doing. Because even now, for me, little things I change, music or eating habits and different stuff. They're like, "What are you doing that for?" It's just better. It gets to the point where to explain it to somebody for them not to understand. I just say like, it's just better for me to do it this way, And I just start doing stuff. Like I said, I can't do everything at once. I'm just like everybody else at fault, but I'm learning little by little to change everything and realize it all makes a difference. And somebody may follow you, they may not, but you're making a better change for yourself and ones around you.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, TC, go ahead.
No, I only have one question. It's about a certain character in this movie, the old man. did he see everything? Does he
I'm
know
gonna get on
everything?
that.
You know, like he's always
so,
there. Like,
all
he,
right.
like
I
he
think
knew.
so. I feel like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I feel like it.
Listen. I
Yeah.
was gonna get on that because
He was one of my favorite characters.
Yes, like
Yeah.
because you always you always have that someone, and this is real life. You always have that, especially, you know, even when my mom saw it, she said, yo, you always have that, you know, that guy, the drunk homeless guy from the hood that knows
see everything.
everything.
Mhm.
It's like he knows everything. Like, you know, then you know how we'll see, like, you know, they call him crazy if he knows some things, but he knows like everything in the hood. Yes, the guy, yeah. But I'm glad you touched on that, TC. And another thing also, right? You peeped in the beginning how the camera was panned to the advertisement, right? An advertisement saying something about whatever, and then after that it went to the liquor store. The liquor store had, you know how we play numbers in the hood. You know, let's play these numbers. And you see how Fonte was playing his numbers, you know, every day. And then after, you know, he was like, oh, let me get a drink of that, the 40. And then it's everyday life. My only confusing is, which is what based on that, is Fonte's mother, how he was like, all right, open the door. He opens the door, and then it's like, all right, I'm gonna have to pick it back on that one, because maybe my interpretation is like, maybe the mother's never home. Maybe, like, you know, it could be all sorts of interpretations. Like maybe the mother, you know, is not. Yeah, I don't. That scene is like, it's still processing to me.
I think
I have
Charles
to
is going to say on
I
that.
want to see what Charles says before I
Yeah,
say
I think I
something.
know what he's going to say too.
Mhm.
This just popped in my head. Okay, as you're talking about it, because that was my number one misunderstanding. Why those scenes? So I just thought about something. Is it possible? Because if you remember, there's a scene where he's knocking on the door and he really wanted to talk to his mother. He was hurting. You remember that? And then I guess that's when he kicked in the door. You know, is it possible that his mother could have been Africa? Mother Africa, going back, trying to reclaim, trying to get back, because he was lost, remember? He was, because this is after he found out that he was a clone. And I'm just saying, I don't know. And because I'm thinking, I'm like, maybe that's what, and again, that voice that he was trying to listen to was controlled also. We talk about Destiny and I talk about often is, who are you listening to? You know, really, who are you listening to? Do they have your best interest in mind? That was just a thought. It just popped in my head. But he was lost, and we talked about that. No male in the household. We got, the mom. It's just no parental guidance. No parental guidance.
Parental, absolute, yes.
My theory on the mom situation, I thought the mom probably passed because, as we know, Fonte is the one that's actually doing the whole clone work. Right. And every time he dies, they just toss a new body in that house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my whole day. I just say it kind of makes sense why the mom's not dead, because maybe she's not alive. And since we see the actual Fonte and he aged, so that's my theory on that.
That's what I thought too. That's why they had like the recording in there, because it was just like, and he doesn't know what his actual mom sounds like, so that could have been a recording of anyone.
So that's
true.
That's a good point, TC, because now what we're looking at is, when he came out of the pod, he was already conditioned.
Yes.
So that's deep. So now he's going into a situation that, again, we talk about the archetypes. He has a plan put inside of him that he's going to play out, because that's what he's been conditioned to do. So
Yeah.
therefore, like DC, and make very good point, is when he came out, that's what he was supposed to do. He was always supposed to check on that door. And every time a clone gets taken, they come and the whole recycle all over again. That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yes. And one thing I did I forgot to mention is that also the elevator, when you go down to the elevator, is also what is it? The trap. There was an elevator in the trap house, an elevator in the church, and there was an elevator in the liquor store and strip club.
Right.
That was another thing that was problematic in the hood.
So yeah, access. And the church was like the main one.
Yes.
Remember the church?
Yes.
And remember the white Jesus in the church, in the black
Yes.
church? Okay. But you're absolutely right. And then again, powerful point. Those detrimental. We have access. We have access to you through these institutions. Just think about that. So you go to the church, we got access to you. You go to the strip club, we got access. Liquor store, we got access to you. Quick access. And now that's a very good point.
So then I think that should make people think maybe I should pivot. Why do I keep going to these places? Are these places actually helping me? Like going to the strip club all the time, going to the club all the time, the liquor store, the trap house. Like I need to change my lifestyle because clearly they're controlling me through these things.
Absolutely, yes, and yeah, I'm just like, it's just so much you can talk about in the movie, like so much, and Destiny, I'm glad you said that, because that you hit that in the nail. Like now it's all about mindset. Like now I have to change my mindset. For what I'm saying. So yeah, that definitely hit that in the nail. Chuck Finance, you did say about how Destiny, remember when Yo-Yo got kidnapped and in the camera got kidnapped?
Rich, you
missing. Not saying that Yo-Yo.
Rich, say that again. You got.
Yeah, say that one more time.
You got frozen.
Okay. Remember when Yo-Yo was kidnapped, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Yo-Yo was kidnapped, when the camera panned, you see how the sign on the pole said missing, and there was a missing person.
Yeah.
So that's deep too. That's deep.
Like, are you saying like that's like a location that they always pick people up?
Yes. That's deep.
They show a picture of the person?
Yes, they did.
I'm gonna go back and look at that again. Yeah.
Yes.
To tie that in, you got to think about it. In our community, every time you look at somebody that's missing, and they ain't never able to find nobody, all of us, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought about when I seen it.
Exactly, and I rarely see like any white kids. Like it's always people of color, Black people or Hispanic. A lot of Black and Hispanic kids always go missing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see.
Okay, Rich, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Okay, the room. What was your favorite part?
All right, my favorite. Oh man. Well, you might have to come back to me, Charles. You might have to come back to me.
What's your favorite part? Anybody?
My favorite part is when that part where she had the wig on and she took it off and she got up. That was my favorite part. I was like, I will never, ever, never take my wigs off.
No, and again, I'm looking at it from a male point of view. So are they trying to say that Black women's wigs will save them? I don't know.
You want to know something? I saw something a while ago that said like women who wear like the wigs and like the hair wraps and stuff like that, it protects your head from like spiritual things and things like that. So like having your regular hair out, like it's subject to like people latching on to you and things like that, and those chemicals and whatever. So in a way, yeah, they're protectors if you're into that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, I got it. My favorite part was when Jamie Foxx got the whole hood together.
Damn it!
Had-
I was about to say from the beginning of organizing that, from the very beginning when they was at the car talking right there, starting from right there.
Yes, you see how Jamie Foxx planned it. He was like, "Yo, listen, you're not gonna like this, but it's going to work."
And then you don't hear about nothing. You don't hear about it. You don't know what they're talking about. It just cut out and go to the next scene.
Yes.
My favorite part was when Jamie Foxx went down into the factory, whatever you want to call it, and he saw himself. And you could see his face, and it, to me, the interpretation was, "Oh shit, I'm part of the problem."
Yep.
Like, oh shit, look, oh wait a minute, I'm a clone too. So
yeah,
that was powerful to me. Yeah.
And if you realize he started like low key believing Jesus again. Remember he said he had a connection. He didn't have a connection with the church.
I didn't see that, but I watched. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, he started praying and all that kind of stuff. Now when they about to go to the elevator and stuff, I thought that's a cool little detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question for y'all. Did anybody else notice when Jamie Foxx was on the, you know that how it was Yo-Yo and Jamie Foxx in there, and the guy is looking for them, and both their guns went out. They ain't got no ammo, right? Thing where she noticed that, I guess I realized later it was a clone. But he had switched out clothes, and she seen a hand move or whatever. So then she's like talking to the guy, getting his attention. The next thing you know, here he comes behind him and shoot him. I didn't realize that he switched out and it was a clone that was there. Until after that whole scene was over, I was like, wait, what? When did that happen?
Oh yeah, I was trying to figure out when that happened too. I was like, that was smart. It was Jamie that switched with a clone, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the part when basically towards the end when he finally met his true self.
Okay, yeah.
Just James realizing like, damn, it's me the whole time. Yeah.
So that is the.
I'm gonna say something.
That is, and again, that's the theory part. Like, and correct, because again, this is why we have to talk things through. Was he because he was talking about a simulation. Now remember, if you look in the background, you have the shades of colors. You have the dark skin, and then as you progress, there's lighter skin. And if you remember, you had the white guys with the afros. They were the simulationists. So his theory was he was trying to say it's okay to assimilate and to adapt. You know, this is again what we're trying to figure out. Like, okay, what are you really saying? And yeah, and that was powerful. It was like, oh my gosh, yeah.
And I want to can we touch on that, because that was a deep scene when he met himself,
right?
Because when he met himself, he said, "No, you are me," and he said, "The people that are, the people that pull the strings." And he said, are the people that you're not going to see. They're not on the TV. They're not the president. They're not the politics. The people that pull the strings, you're never going to see them at all. And he said he has to listen to them. And then Nixon said the same thing. Nixon was like, well, I'm the guy that, like if things get messed up, I got to clean it up. You know what I'm saying? And that goes to what we do. Even when we get hired for, like, I don't want to get like too deep in that, but it's like even if we get hired, right, to do things, sometimes our job is to clean stuff up too. You know, we get paid to clean stuff up for our job.
Yeah.
And going back to when Fonte met himself, Tyrone met himself, the powerful words that he said was, and he said it's with two A's. He said annihilation, something like that, is better than annihilation, something like that.
Simulation better than annihilation. Something.
Yes. That's what he said. That, oh, and I'm thinking, and when I first seen it, I'm like, okay, does that mean like, is he a coon or something? Or is he...
That's we.
You're right.
So, Time, this is how with that. What brought it back for me? Maybe I'm going too deep into it, but automatically brought it back to slavery for me, where
Yeah.
the blacks was selling their own people for money or whatever it is. So to me, it was he's giving himself, he's cloning himself and his own people in their community, specific people, for them to keep it be the way it's supposed to be, and he's following what the higher ups are saying. And to me, that's just that statement. You going based off of what the higher ups with that is saying, and you're just following down.
I think about, I don't know if you guys ever saw the show In Living Color.
Yes.
Okay, remember
Yes.
the season with Homie when he assimilated and he was wearing the suits and he rose up through the ranks, and once he got into the doors of Whitey, he snapped. Remember that? He played the game. Once he got in, he kicked their butt. You know, and again, Rich, you brought up a good point. It's like, who are we cleaning stuff up for?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's deep, Rich. It's, you know, are we cleaning stuff up for us or for the powers that be that perpetuate what's going on?
Absolutely.
That's a deep question. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. That scene is powerful itself. Definitely.
Yeah.
When he met his original self.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and we talked about the brother, the drunk guy. One of the things that they do is the word is called sejim in ancient Egypt, and it means to listen. Okay, sejim means to listen. We hear things, but do we listen? And you know, one of the things that we have a tendency of doing is we don't think that the people, because of the way they look or because of something, we don't think they don't have value. So sometimes we have to listen to what people are saying and close our eyes and listen to the content. It goes back to, like, you know, we say that, oh, that person's crazy. No, but did you hear what they said? Did you really hear what they said? Like, wow. How many people we have discounted because we didn't think that they had value? I'm not saying everybody, but these are small things that we have to understand, because somebody will say something at a certain time and you're going to go like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear what you just said. You know, again, what we have to understand and look at that. So we look at these things, and it is like, and I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say that when it comes to these movies, Black Panther was one of the most profound movies in history. When it comes to us. You had people who wanted to go to Wakanda. They were like, I want to move to Wakanda. I'm serious, and they were serious, right? But the second movie, Wakanda Forever, to me was better than the first one. That's just my interpretation. I put this movie on the same level with Wakanda Forever. because what it does is it opens up the eyes of people to help them look at what's really going on. To be like, wait a minute, hold on. Like TC said, I can look outside my window. Wait a minute, that's what's going on now. So now I'm surprised, and I would like to see if it affects the Popeyes profit line. If it affects all those chicken joints profit lines, profit margins, I would like to see. So again, we're going to look at it and decide what's going to happen. Again, the awareness thing, it's opening up your eyes, just like the Matrix. When you open up your eyes, remember when Neo came out of the pod, he was like, whoa. He was like, wait a minute, this is not what I thought it was. So that's what we have to look at. And I'm hoping that people who listen to this, our conversation, will be like, oh my gosh, have more of these. And mind you, this came, Rich, remember how this came out, Rich? Rich and I were talking about it, and I was like, there's nobody talking about this online. There's nobody talking about it online. They're talking about other stuff, but not like this. So I think, Rich, I'm going to check, but I think we might be the first ones that are going to put something up online about this movie. Yeah.
Let's go.
I love that
Let's go.
I agree with everything you're saying.
Right.
Yes, Wakanda 2 was a good movie, okay?
Yeah.
It was good. At first, I gotta rewatch it, but at first I was just like, it's not better than the first one. But then I'm looking at stuff, I kind of still like it, so I gotta rewatch it and see what's going on.
Right,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny about this movie, though? Before this movie came out, when Jamie Foxx had his whole health scare, we all were saying online, did they call him Jamie Foxx? Because we started seeing him surface online and stuff. And now we're watching the movie. Now we're looking at it like, hold on now.
But you gotta look. Remember, he came out with his thing telling people that he's fine. I'm not cloned and all that stuff. They like, I still think he's cloned.
Yeah. it's just funny how things connect. So yeah.
But you know what I think? I really think that was all for marketing.
It could have been.
I can see that too.
It could have been.
That's genius. Yeah.
Look at timing wise. And you know, timing wise, it just and the word. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. He just made a movie. They cloned Tyrone. Now they're using the word clone. Like, come on. If this was 6 months ago, nobody would have ever said the word clone.
Yeah.
Nobody would have said it. But I really think it's for marketing. But that's my interpretation. To sell tickets. So we'll see what happens.
Knowing Hollywood, you could be exactly right.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely. Okay. Any other thoughts? I think we touched on almost majority of it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question, Rich.
Any other thoughts?
Yeah, one more question. Okay. And this is open to the room.
Okay.
How would you explain this movie to someone who's not seen it?
For someone who did not see it?
Did not see it. Because I've been telling people, watch it. Just like, look, watch it. I'm not saying Jack. Watch it.
That's how I'll explain it. I would just ask them, did you see Get Out? If they say they like it, I say go ahead and see it.
Gotcha.
I would say see it with an open mind.
Okay.
I like that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I just told him to
See
see
with
it.
a friend.
But you got to have a mind to be open to see it. So,
That too.
Right?
I just tell him watch it.
No, you know what I would say? I would say watch it and then watch DC Incentives podcast on it.
Right.
You know what? Another Destiny. What's I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I agreed with what you said. Like, watch it with an open mind. That's when I was telling my friends to watch it, and they was like, "What was it about?" And I was like, "It's just a lot of weird stuff." Like, I was just like, "Just watch it." Like, you're gonna watch it, and you're gonna think, "Oh my gosh, what is in my food?" Like, what is? And I compared it. I was telling them about. Well, it's on my screen right now. They Cloned Tyrone, but I was telling them about how you see how they're doing stuff with the meat now. I was like, I feel like it's
She went out.
Yeah, you went out a bit.
Say that.
Destiny, you went out. We didn't hear you.
Yeah, you went far.
What's the last thing you heard?
Something is on your screen right now. That's
Yeah.
It was They Cloned Tyrone.
Okay.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I was saying, I was telling them like just basically watch it with an open mind overall. Yeah.
Yes. That's and so Chuck, what would we say to the ones that are closed-minded?
What do we say to the ones that are closed-minded?
I would say, like, listen, watch the movie, but they're closed-minded. Like, like
stubborn.
They're the ones that are tough. They're not open-minded. They're the ones that, if you see something in face value, they believe it or something like that. Or they can be like, how can I say, like more like they have some truth, but not all the way truths.
Well, one of the things that you can do with people like that is, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. One of the things that you can do is, as educators, because that's what we all here are, we're all in the education business. Whatever we do, we are trying to help people and teach people, everybody in this room. Destiny does music, so she's trying to minister and help people through music. And think about that. So the only thing we can do is we can offer. We can't make them take it. And then we work with the ones who are willing to be accepting of the work. Everybody's not going to make it on this boat. That's the scary part. And that's one thing that we have to learn as a people, is that everyone is not going to make it. And we have to let them go. So those people who don't want to hear it, the best thing that you can do is live your life. And hopefully somewhere along the line, they'll be like, you know what? I remember when you just started this. I remember when you were talking about this. 4 or 5 years later, can you help me out? Get to where you are. Yeah, I'll do that, but you should have did that shit 4 or 5 years when I first told you about it. So if you think about it, like you just said, Rich, if you think about it, imagine the influence that you can have on someone when you say, you know what, you need to watch Get Out, you need to watch the Cloned Tyrone, so that it might put something in them and be like, I want to be a filmmaker and I want to show movies like this. They don't sit down. It's like, I can't. One of the things as an educator is, I was raised around books. And anyone knows me knows that I'm a book fiend. So if I give you a book, I can't make you read it. I did my part. I didn't hide anything from you. Here you go. Now, after you read that book, we're going to talk about it, just like the movie. After you see the movie, we're going to talk about it. Yes. So now your eyes are open. So now we're talking about They Cloned Tyrone. Next thing you know, you're going to start looking at other movies. What did I miss? What did I see? Rich, you turned me on to a movie a couple of weeks ago. Was it
Surrogate? Yeah.
Right? And I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is. And if you know anything about Surrogate, well, watch the movie Surrogate. Again, what we're doing is we're like, yo, what am I missing? What are they showing? I mean, like, wow, oh my gosh, this is what's really going on. This is what's happening. And the same archetypes are the same. It's somebody controlling another group.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's somebody controlling another group. And the problem is we don't get to see the puppet master. That's the key. Yeah.
Absolutely. Those are the ones that's pulling the strings. Just like, the original Fonte said, the ones that's pulling the strings, you will never see them.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Remember the end of the movie? I was like, wait a minute, who's Tyrone? And at the end of the movie, they show Tyrone. And if you watch the movie, the end, remember, and then you watch the beginning, it's the same scene. It's just one was in, I guess, New Orleans.
I think New
Chicago,
Orleans,
right?
Chicago. Yes,
Chicago.
one was in One was in Chicago. Another one was in Cali.
In
Yeah,
LA.
LA.
So
LA, yeah.
the same exact scenes. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, here, but maybe what they're trying to say is, here we go again. Here we go again. The same over and over and over until somebody breaks the chain and be like, okay, I'm not gonna do this shit anymore.
Exactly.
Yes. Absolutely, yes. Yep. And and have you realized that same black SUV car was in the beginning, seeing how it picked someone else up?
Yeah.
In the beginning?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then it got yo-yo later on.
Yep. And then it got yo-yo later on. Yep.
Now remember, I think when Jamie Foxx, we talk about the organization part. What's the brother's name? The one who shot him the first time. It's
from P Valley.
Yes, from P Valley. You know, it's like, are we going to set aside our differences and galvanize,
facts,
and mobilize, and organize, and move together? Like Zay said, when Jamie Foxx got everybody together, like, you know, we have a larger enemy to fight than ourselves.
Exactly. It's in the movie. They're showing you in the movie what you can do. They literally showing you what you can do.
So now the question is, if we can do that, here's part of the situation. If I'm fighting Rich, I'm fighting TC, I'm fighting Zay, I'm fighting Destiny, I'm fighting Diamond Cash, I don't have time to look for other enemies. I'm fighting you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We come together and be like, listen, let's deal with the real issue. Let's deal with what's going on. Now we're talking about, again, organization. So now it's like, wait a minute, hold on. Our beef and our squabble has nothing to do with us. It's a situation that happened. Let's deal with that situation. Okay, so now we are galvanizing, we're mobilizing, we're putting stuff together. Now it's like, okay, we know where the real fight is. And the real fight is not us. It's the powers that be. It's the situation. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. And you always got that one hood person that be like, so you mean to tell me is that you got some Bill Nye science dudes underground, and you know how they talk, like they be like, so you mean to tell me this shit, like, come on, you
and they be knowing they be spooked out. They just trying to keep it cool or trying to act like they not scared when they know they like, it's people under.
Yep. And next thing you know, so like, and then towards the ending when Jamie Foxx had everybody together, you see how that one dude was on the phone. He was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just bring everybody. Just bring it's
literally. And he's like, yo, bring Stephanie now down with the chicks, you know. I was like, yo.
Because that's how you know that in the hood, that it's always that person. It always is.
We all know a person like that.
Yeah, literally. That part made me laugh too. It was like,
and you always got that in one person odd in the family. That you always got that person in the family too.
I like the way at the end when they went to the liquor store and they was like, yo, they was like, we need to get downstairs. And the guy was like, what? Like, yo, we need to get. And when they pulled out the showcase, I was like, oh, it's this.
That's wait,
I'm gonna watch it again tonight.
Did you guys ever hear how that restaurant, what is it? Like they say it's 2 restaurants and they're like, how are these people still open? I think it's Arby's and Long John's or something like that.
Yeah, it's Arby's is something else. I don't know what's other
business. That's a good point.
They
probably got underground tunnels in there too.
It's and one of the things. One of the things Destiny asked why they open.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys, PSA, you guys got to watch what you eat.
Yes.
because they're, I watch videos and I'll be, books I've read, the food that you think you're eating, it's not what you think you're eating sometimes.
Yeah, it's not real meat.
Oh, and we got this clone chicken coming out too.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up a point. You see what Chuck Finance was talking about? How, and we educate people. And in DC, come on, TC, you know how we did a whole red 40, yellow 1, what is it? Blue 1. How we talked about that? That's in artificial flavors and what's in the food. Yeah. Come on now. How we talk, and that brings back to educating people. So this should inspire, someone to be like, all right, I want to be a filmmaker now. I want to make a difference now. That way. And I'm glad you said that. You said that, Chuck Fine. I'm glad you said that. Because that movie got me hyped. First thing I saw, I was like, all right.
It's like they said, you start with yourself.
Yes.
And you start with yourself, and hopefully you'll influence somebody next to you, and hopefully they'll influence somebody next to them. And, like you said, with the red dye and the yellow, it's like, why don't you eat that? Let me show you what this is made from. It's like, oh my gosh, let me show you what this does to you. Oh my gosh. Okay, you know what? Just cut it out your diet. And this is what it's all. It's okay. Let's look at it this way. What we're doing is we're building filters. Got it? And those filters we're going to build because we're going to start monitoring what we're listening to. Okay, I'm not saying you can't listen to this, but you're going to build a filter to know that you're consciously hearing it, or if you decide, you can shut it down. Just like, you know what, I'm going to filter what I'm eating. If I'm accustomed to eating chicken every single day, you know what, I'm going to cut it down to maybe twice a week now. Because if you know anything about the chicken business, remember, overconsumption in the United States, the chicken is filled up with the hormones, the female hormones, and then you look at the female bodies and you look at the male bodies, all of this stuff. So you know what? Let me go back to the next book. Dr. Bobby Price said something so profound. He's a plant-based doctor, Dr. Bobby Price, and he said something so profound. He said the food we're eating is not the same food that our grandparents ate. Yeah. And it made total sense. It's like, you know what? You're absolutely right. You got lettuce that won't burn now. Wow.
Yes.
That's wild to even hear that.
Right. You got food, and it's like, I'm kind of scared sometimes. I go to the store, I'm like, oh my gosh, is this real? I'm reading labels, we're like, oh my gosh. But again, that's what the movie is supposed to do. It's supposed to stimulate to act different and to be better. And that's what I hope that this movie does for people. Yeah. Get them to open up and look at, you know what, maybe I need to change some ways.
Absolutely. Also, check out. Go ahead, TC.
No, go ahead.
Also, check out the advertisement signs. Okay. Especially, there was one roll card that said one race winner, and then there was another sign that had an underground that said like we're all equal, something like that, or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check out those signs too. Just to point it out.
I just want to mention one thing Chuck was saying about the foods and stuff. Here's a good way to indicate about good habits and bad habits. If you look at certain neighborhoods, even as you drive in like to different towns and stuff, if you see McDonald's in certain neighborhoods that look similar like to ours and stuff like that, and then let's say you drive by a nice neighborhood, you see no McDonald's, that's a problem there. It's obviously McDonald's is placed in that neighborhood for a reason. So I use that indicator sometimes like, okay, like we should chill out from that, because if it's only in my neighborhood, that's not right. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
What you're also looking at is you're looking at profit margin. And well, it's just a whole different conversation. There are no high-rise ghettos in certain communities.
Yes.
So population-wise, it doesn't make sense to open up a McDonald's in an area that has low foot traffic. This is all market. But also, what you want to look at is why certain things are being done, and there have been studies about this, and you can read it, and it's just amazing. Again, the conversation of why that, why, and you'd be surprised how when it comes to the aspect, Rich, going back to the beginning, redlining things. There are certain businesses that cannot open up in certain communities. It's on the record. So now we understand that. So now liquor stores cannot open up in certain communities. It's part of that. And it's part of community planning. They won't let you do that. But it's opening up, and you got 3 or 4 in Box Radiance in our communities. And again, what we do, we're looking at this. So what we can do is be consciously aware, like I said, and just school people. You guys remember the scene in Boys in the Hood? His name was Furious, right?
Chuck, we didn't hear nothing you said.
Chuck, say that again. Say that again, Chuck.
What we have to do is we have to be consciously aware, and we have to talk to people, and we have to tell people. We have to open their eyes. Just get them thinking. They don't have to be at the level that we are. Just be like, listen, have you ever thought about, wow, you know what? That's something to think about. And then tomorrow I'll put something else in your ear. Like, well, wow, because it's the awareness piece. That's what's most important. Knowing what your diet is. And remember, I said your diet is what you see, what you eat, what you hear, and who's manipulating that to control you.
Yeah.
You have people be like, a song comes on, I don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear that song. Why? That's the jam. Yeah, but I don't want to hear that. So that, again, I'm filtering what's going inside of my body.
Yes. Why is it that in the hood there's not really fresh, it's like really fresh fruits, but if I go to another, like, let's say if I go to the neighborhood, if I go to an upscale neighborhood, like Whole Foods or something like that, why is it that they have fresh fruits and more of the foods, upscale foods in another neighborhood than the hood? Why is that?
Well, yeah, these are good questions.
That goes back to money.
Yeah.
That goes back. Come on, you know where that goes to. Yeah. But yeah.
But hasn't anybody realized, like, there are more people that's willing to make their own, grow their own vegetables. More people are trying to grow their own fruits and vegetables now.
Yeah, I realized that myself.
And I noticed that some people don't know much about it, and they're like more trying to find out more information on how they can get that done. And I've seen more gardens in certain neighborhoods now, in our neighborhoods, I should say, but they may not be as big as they want them to be, but they're starting that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I think we touched on any more thoughts?
No.
No.
Because we'd be here another hour.
I'm pretty sure this will be the last time we talk about
Which is true.
Let's do this. Rich, if it's okay with you, somewhere along the line, let's pick another movie, and then next month we'll go through that movie. How's that?
Sure.
That sounds cool. Okay.
All right.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Let's do it.
We'll kind of breakdown discussion. And you know what we can do is we can do a new movie. We can do an old movie. Now that'll be pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
I like that.
All right. I'm fine with that. We can do every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
So yeah.
Absolutely. All
Like
right.
a little rotten
So,
tomatoes.
Right?
all right. So that's the all right. So that's the episode, y'all. Thank y'all. And then what is your thoughts? What is your thoughts, on the movie They Cloned Tyrone? What is your reviews? Put that in the comments. Put that, what's your thoughts on that? Like, subscribe. Leave us a review.
And also for those who listen, if you want us to do a movie, pop it in.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
It might be a movie that I never seen before. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah,
absolutely. And if we'll watch the movie. We'll do a review. Yeah. Really. So that's the end of the episode, y'all. Share this with 3 people. Share this with 5 people. Because this is deep, especially for the ones that they clone Tyrone. If they watch the movie. If you'd like to support us, definitely go to our subscribe, and also go to the Apple podcast app. Leave a review, 5 stars, everything. So yeah. Yeah, guys. So also, if you would like to, donate or anything to us, or you really support us, go to www.diamondcashincentives.com. And yeah, and Chuck Finance. How can they follow you?
Instagram or TikTok. Chuck Finance at Instagram or TikTok.
Let's go. So, is there anything going on? How can they donate to you, or how can they Cashapp anything, or anything going on? And what's your any updates?
Yeah, just Chuck Finance. Hit me up, DM me, and we can take it from there.
Gotcha. Okay, TC Zay, talk to me.
You know where to find me. Sitting right here on this podcast.
Exactly.
I ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
Ain't clone me. I'm still me. I ain't get cloned yet.
I can't.
Yeah, word.
All right.
So that's the end of the episode, y'all.
Good night.
Yes, good night.
Later, guys.
Good night.